Hello and welcome to the Macon County Market Update. I'm Jim Wilkerson and I'm with Tim Vieweg and Cheryl Friend.
Hello.
Hi.
And we're going to tell you a little bit about what's going on in the local market. There's a quote I'd like to share with you. It's from Zelman and Associates, and it says, "This month, our broker contacts reported a continuation of robust demand and intense competition from buyers to win houses with bidding wars, all cash offers, waived contingencies, and rent-free leasebacks increasingly common in many markets." Well, I'm not sure it's really that cutthroat here in Macon County and Decatur, but it is a lot more competitive. What do you guys think?
Oh, definitely. Not only are they doing the things you mentioned, they're also not doing home inspections, no radon reports. A lot of the deals are cash. I don't know, Tim, are you finding that? Yeah, a lot of them are cash transactions even. So yeah, it's very competitive here.
I don't think it's as quite as extreme as it is in some of the bigger markets, but houses going for over full price. Anything to gain that little edge on another offer that's coming in, whether it's more money down as far as the loan goes, just anything to make it a more solid deal.
First time last week we saw one of the escalation clauses. Have you seen that yet?
Right, the automatic
escalation clause. Yes, that's the first one we saw of those two.
So that means that an offer, we make an offer, but we have an automatic escalation. So if somebody comes in higher than them, their offer automatically escalates up to a cap of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time you've had to do anything like that?
Never that I know of. I've only been in for 30 years, you might ask Cheryl.
Yeah, I've been in it for 48 years.
Oh,
Never.
wow.
I've never seen this market. Crazy market.
It really is. Well, let's go into some stats. If we're looking at days on market, during the first 6 months of this year, Macon County has averaged 40.6 days on the market. So things are moving very quickly. The first 6 months of last year, we saw 637 homes sold in Macon County. And the first 6 months of this year, we saw 732 homes sold in Macon County. So that's a 14.9% increase. Also, home prices are rising. In Macon County, the median closing price has increased by 9% since the beginning of this year. So, but low inventory, that's the big buzzword right now, right? Just this morning, pulled up the stats, 137 active listings in Macon County, residential.
It's low. Should be 400 plus.
Yeah.
And if you looked, I pulled up a stat I broke them down into categories, and between 150 to 300,000, there are only 6 listings.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, if we look at the historic trend of active listings, you'll see that this year is way below the normal, just like we're saying. But on that chart that you'll see on the screen, you'll see just how drastically different it is this year compared to the past several years. Well, if you put all that together, we have a seller's market, really. If we look at the absorption rate, if you don't know what that is, it's a key term that we use to see what's going on in the market. Absorption rate is basically how long it's going to take to sell the remaining inventory. Right now it's just a little over 1 month. So that's anything below 3 is a seller's market, anything above 4 is a buyer's market. But you'll see that it's been going down for the last few years, and we are hot in the middle of a seller's market. What do you guys think about everything that's going on? It's a crazy time, isn't it?
You want me to go?
You go ahead.
I don't see that changing anytime soon. And I think there's more than one thing fueling it. It's not just here. It's everywhere. We are inventory light, and some of that is just because it's easier to buy houses right now. Banks are, I think, getting a little more aggressive.
We got 3% interest rates right now.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Interest rates help, and back in 2008, whenever everything came to a crashing halt, banks tightened up a little bit. They're getting looser with the money. They're getting a little freer. There's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines. And so I think that as long as we have these interest rates, we're going to have a lot of people coming into the market to buy houses.
Yeah, and our highest market appeals to the millenniums right now, 1980 to 2000 range. There are hot buyers right now, and they want to buy houses.
Right.
And that
Want to
just,
build that equity, get that going.
Sooner they can start that. Can't beat time,
Yeah.
as far as getting stuff paid for.
Well, you guys mentioned low interest rates. Although rates have risen just a little over the last 10 weeks, just very minimal, they remain very low. On June 24th, Freddie Mac's website showed an interest rate of 3.02% on a 30-year fixed mortgage. But if you look at the trend over the last 3 years, interest rates have declined by over 33% over the last 3 years. So that's the one bright spot for buyers right now and the advantage they have.
It allows them to buy more house for the money.
and I don't see interest rates going down or going up, that much in the next
I think
few
you'll see
months.
them edge up, but
Nothing.
when you're talking 3% or 3.2 or 3.4, it
still-
really doesn't matter. They're extremely, extremely low. I
That's
remember
true.
them being over 9%, and
I
you probably
remember 18%.
Yeah,
18
it's
and
been
20, yes.
crazy in the past.
Yeah.
But I do think you're going to see some inflation, and which might temper some of the buying. But I think we're going to be in a pretty good market for a while.
I think so too.
Well, we've talked about some residential stats and what's going on there. Tim, Cheryl, what do you guys see going on? Commercial or building new
That's
homes?
Tim's department,
Yeah,
yeah.
Tim.
Well, although the residential's been great, we're starting to finally see a little bit of uptick in activity for commercial. We've sold a few properties that have been on the market for quite a while. We've sold one big one out on Taylorville Road was the old Barton Manufacturing, and that sold fairly quickly. And there's a new company going in there, and so you are seeing some activity. We have a couple big projects that are under contract for some big buildings to go up out close to the interstate. So you're going to see, I think, some changes, and anytime you see a little bit of growth like that and some new buildings going up, people start getting a little more confident about putting their money at risk and building stuff. And of course, we are also involved with S.A. Lewis Construction. We're building houses. The issue on the housing side is the cost of materials and the availability of materials. They continue to, prices are just crazy right now as far as materials, lumber especially, dimensional lumber and plywood, and that continues to go up. It's kind of tapered off now, and word is that it's going to stay where it's at or maybe decline a little bit. So hopefully we get a little bit of a break in that. But even with that, we're building houses, we're selling them before they're done. So it looks pretty good.
And there's several great communities that have lots of lots available.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's as far as residential lots, yeah, there's plenty of lots in Forsyth and Mount Zion and even Decatur. There's a few lots on the lake.
Well, there hasn't been much building going on the last few years, Tim.
No,
So it's
just
great
been
to
in the
see
last-
it.
Yeah,
it's great to
absolutely.
see construction starting again.
Yeah, and it's fun to be a part of it. The fact that we're actually involved in it, not just watching it.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Well, do you guys have any other thoughts for looking ahead, next 6 months to next year from now? Any other thoughts going forward?
No, I'm with Tim. I think the market's going to pretty much stay like we're at for another year or so, I think, before we see any real change, don't you?
Yeah. But whether it goes up or down, I always say it doesn't matter if the market does this or this, there's opportunity. And you just have to look for that opportunity and figure out how to play your cards. And if you're out looking for opportunity, it's nice to get a realtor behind you that is aware of the market and what's happening. And in this market, a lot of people think, well, do we need a realtor? And actually you do. You're pricing your house correctly. You know, yeah, you want to maximize your return, but you don't want to overprice it. You don't, to the point that you don't get activity. And so I think it's important that you have that knowledge behind you. And the other thing that I think we bring to the market, a benefit to a buyer or a seller, is under normal conditions, if things turn south and there's a lawsuit, we are involved and we have E&O insurance, and that sometimes can help. When it's people that don't have us, they're just going for broke and somebody's paying.
Well, another thing about with the market is it's increased 12% or so this last year. The appraisers maybe aren't caught up with that. And it sure helps to have a realtor to help you with that appraiser.
Right.
I've had a couple of them call me, you know, trying to find comps on people's houses.
Right.
They're having a hard time with, so.
And the new construction also plays a role with those appraisers, because you could have a house that's 10 years old and you're building a house right next to it that's going to probably cost you 20% more at least to build the exact same house. So all of a sudden, you've got to look at, you know, what's the value left on that roof and what's the expenses that are to come, versus having something brand new that's then the appraisers will make an adjustment for new construction, but they haven't had to do that a lot in the past. Appraising is a lot harder today, I think, than what it was even 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys think inventory levels will get a little bit better by the end of this year, or do you think we're probably looking into next year to start to maybe get some of that back? I know a lot of it has to do with just the climate, and you know, in the country and the state and everywhere. You know, people are hesitant right now a little bit, but also, you know, now that they're a little more hesitant because they don't know if they can find a home if they sell their home.
Right.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Right.
Is finding something if you sell yours. It really is.
Well, that's just another reason why you need a realtor, because realtors have the scoop. They
Well,
they
tell
know
you-
what's going on.
The
Whether you
la-
like it or not.
The last 2 homes I sold weren't listed yet. See, somebody in the office knew about it,
Yeah.
and you're exactly right. Time they hit the MLS, usually they're gone.
Right.
So the advantage of having a realtor is, yes,
Yeah.
you know, you talk amongst yourself, you
The
know who's going to
networking
list
and-
what. The networking, yes, is invaluable.
My last lake sell was just that. There wasn't anything that they wanted, and I just started calling, and until I finally, we sold one. So I do think having somebody that's in that market that knows, that's out there working full time for you, is a big benefit.
Great. Well, I hope you enjoyed that market update, and I hope it was helpful for you in your planning. If you'd like to find more about what's going on in the market, well, the first thing is you always want to get a realtor on your side, but you can always keep up with us on our website, viewegrealestate.com, and follow us on our social media pages, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.